Welcome to another edition of Interruptions. I'm your host, Otis Smith. Today, I got a treat for you guys. I've been knowing this young man for a while. He was one of my first clients. Anyone that knows that I used to do sports management as far as handling endorsement for athletes. He is a 2004 ACC Player of the Year. He also won the Dudley Award. He played with the Atlanta Falcons. He also played with the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Carolina Panthers. He's also played arena football, played indoor football. I'm talking no other than the most beloved Virginia Tech player, Bryan Randall. How you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm doing very good, Otis. I'm blessed. Can't complain. Can't complain. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man, I'm so happy that you are here, man. I'm so giddy, man. It's sickening. Because
Ah,
I hadn't seen you in a while, I hadn't talked to you in a while, and I know it's been a lot of changes in your life, and I've try to follow you, from afar, man. But um, man, you was I remember the first time I spoke to you. It was so funny. I called you during the summer.
mm-hmm,
You was going into your I don't know if it was your junior year or your senior year. It might have been your junior year. And
mm-hmm,
I knew Michael Vick brother was coming to Virginia Tech. And
mm-hmm.
I said, "Hey man, keep that dude on the bench because I know they want to play him, but
Hey,
I know you can play."
yeah, that was definitely the truth. That was a true statement when you said that, because that was definitely the case, and I think everybody could see the situation that was about to take place. And I mean, all I could do was just keep doing me. So
Yeah, but
yeah.
you handled it with style and grace, man. I mean, I said, but let me ask you this. This is not even a question. Before I get to my question, it just popped up. So let me ask you this. What
Mm-hmm.
would you think you would have done today in that situation with the transfer portal?
Oh, it's funny. It's funny you said that, because when you were asking me, and when you were just about to ask that question, I was just thinking in my head about the transfer portal, because I've been reading even today, even with basketball. People talking about the transfer portal, and um, man, it's a game changer. I mean, it
Yeah,
gives, and I think there's pros and cons. Now, I think there's
right.
pros and cons, but for me personally, in the situation I was in, I may have tested the waters after
Just
my junior year.
yeah.
After my junior year, I may have tested the waters going into my senior year. Yes.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's why I asked that question because I mean, because it wasn't available then. Well, it was, but it was available. It's so so much stipulation. Like, all right, Brian, if you're gonna transfer, you can't go here, you can't go here. Like they before you even get a thought in your head, they telling you where you can't go.
Yeah, pretty much. There was so much, that so many guidelines involved in transferring, that it was like, man, if I transfer, I gotta sit out. I gotta go to a lower division, or I gotta, like you were saying, there were so many stipulations involved that it really made you think twice about doing it. If you're gonna do that, you better be serious about it. There's no half step like it is
It-
now. Let me tiptoe and then I'm gonna back out. No, I mean, it was no. You either make it or not.
so, what made you? My first question: what made you choose Virginia Tech? How did Virginia Tech
Mhm.
become a thing for you to say that's where I want to go play college ball?
Well, it all started in the '99 season of Virginia Tech, when they went to the national championship and played against Florida State. Before then, even being in Virginia,
Hmm.
I, I I didn't really know too much about Virginia Tech.
I didn't either.
You know, I it was it was all new to me. So them coming on the scene was one of those things where, okay, you got a championship team,
Hmm.
got a team that's on the verge of coming up, and me being a mobile quarterback, I'm looking at, okay, who this guy that there's quarterback? He's from Virginia, Heisman candidate, and I mean the program just looked like it was moving in a different direction. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, if I'm a mobile quarterback and I got an opportunity to go learn behind this guy and
Hmm.
when he leaves, we're in the same position,
Yeah.
bringing play, being in that spotlight. Plus, it was close to home. Plus my parents could come see me play. I didn't have to go too far, 3.5 hour drive. Um, Things were just on the up and up, and that really sold me. But the '99 season opened my eyes and then at what they did in 2000.
Right.
Along where I could see that the program was going. I mean, that it sealed the deal for me.
That it's so interesting because I've always said this. Now, I might take some flack for saying this, but I've been saying this for the longest, so I'm gonna say it on camera. It's funny that it seems like VTech can't constantly win unless there is an African American quarterback at the helm. I've noticed when there have been Caucasian quarterbacks, the team doesn't function the same. And I think it's the element of the being able to be a dual quarterback, because I watch, of course, we all watch Michael Vick, and then you came and kept it elevated, kept it steady. Then Tyrod came, and then Logan Thomas came. So, but since Logan left, that position has not been the same. And I've always tell people, they say, "Who are your team?" I say, "Well, I'm a Georgia Bulldog through and through, but I root for VTech." I say, but I can't root for him, man, if I don't see no brother back that quarterback. For some reason, man, Bryan, the team don't look the same.
That dynamic is funny because, I mean, you're right. If you look at the quarterbacks that came after Mike, majority for African Americans. Now, before after when Mike left, I was in a battle with Grant Noe, who wasn't a quarterback, and he started my true freshman year, and I ended up taking over my sophomore year. Then we actually brought in a 5-star and a guy named Sean Glennon.
I remember Sean.
Marcus got replaced, so he wasn't typically the mold. Like Sean's sitting at 6'6".
Yeah.
Pocket passer. So he wasn't necessarily the mold that had been in place before.
Right.
And honestly, I believe that our style really fit the mobile quarterback because, for one, our offense really wasn't dynamic as far as like how it is now. And when I say that, we were run based.
Yep.
So passing was kind of like a afterthought for us. All our stuff was play action. We weren't built, to be a pocket passing team. We were built to be a run team. So therefore, your quarterbacks that you brought in, when it was time to pass, a lot of times you had to make plays. I mean, we were another running back in a running offense.
But now one of the things, and I'm gonna get to it, but one of the things that I saw in you that was different, you brought a Randall Cunningham dynamic to the position at Virginia Tech, which I haven't seen anybody else do it like that. Maybe I'll say Tyrod a little bit, and I would say Logan just a little bit. Logan is bigger, taller. But what I mean is that a real dual threat, a guy that can throw it from the pocket, a guy can design runs, but also a guy that can run when everything breaks down. You brought all those different elements that I think, Vic was just scratching the surface. Vic was a phenomenon. It was just, we never seen the quarterback be the fastest guy on the field. Like, man, please. I tell people to this day, another generation, I'm sure you do the same thing. I say, man, I like Lamar Jackson. I love what he's doing. Y'all don't understand when number 7 was in it. It's it ain't the same. it ain't the same. But I felt like you were that next guy, but as far as in a more of a Randall Cunningham, but bigger, thicker, being able to take the hit, because Randall Cunningham was the most scariest quarterback I ever seen. A guy that could throw it and run it. And I always say, when you get that combination together, that's something you can't stop. You can't. You can't stop that.
And you know what, Otis? That's why I feel like the move to the mobile quarterback it was like a future move. When you saw Randall Cunningham, he was like before his time.
He was before his time. Yep.
People weren't used to seeing. People weren't really used to seeing that. So I don't really think they really respected that as much as certain areas it's been respected. And I always tell people, it's went through phases because you got Mike's era when Mike came out, it was very dynamic. And honestly, me personally, I feel like Mike was very underrated as a passer coming out. He may not have been as polished, as some other quarterbacks, but his arm was second to none.
Man, look, I ain't never seen nobody throw like that yet. A flick of a wrist?
Second to none.
Like he's shooting a 3-pointer. Like
anybody yet whose throwing motion was like that, made it look so effortless with so much power behind it. And I mean, seeing it in person just made it that more dynamic.
I tell people the highlights. You had to see him live. Like it was ridiculous. I saw, and I think the knock on Vic too. I mean, the unfair knock is even when he was in Atlanta, and because you were here, you only had one guy to throw to, and that was Algie. If you throw to the tight end when nobody else. So don't get it wasn't like when you guys were at Virginia Tech. You had plenty of receivers, tight end to throw to. It's like for some reason, like you get to the league and they give you one guy. You're like, man, what I supposed to do? What I supposed to do with one guy? This the best of the best.
Yeah.
So what?
Go ahead.
No, I was just go ahead. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
No, I guess what what you're saying, that I guess, like I said, it was almost a point to where they were trying to figure out, how to maximize, a player of his potential, trying to maximize the dual threat. I mean, especially in the NFL, they couldn't pass on Mike because he was such a phenomenal talent. But I still think that they weren't even ready for a talent like his. You move to the future now, where you had more and more guys who have come out who are, dual threat mobile. Offenses have evolved. NFL offensive styles have evolved around their players to make it better for them. So now you got guys putting up all these crazy stats. Yeah, because you got offensive gurus out there game planning and scheming, to put these players in a position where they just got to go out there and play. We ain't got to go out there and make things happen as much. Yeah, as much.
So what was that like for you when you coming in to Virginia Tech and sitting back, and then Mike leaves, and then once you took over and it was your show, and you like, man, I got to keep this thing going because I know you was already confident in yourself. You have to be, but what was that like for you to say, man, I got to keep this thing going, man, because this is the reason why I'm here.
Yeah. When he left to go to the draft that year that I came in, I played on redshirt. So in my mind at first, I'm like, well, I'm gonna get to learn from the guy who's, putting it down, right now. So step, take off right where he left off. So when he left, it put me in a different position where it was kind of like, okay, you're gonna have to be able to learn quickly, adjust to the speed of the college game. And when you get your opportunity, you're gonna have to take advantage. Because now I'm in a situation where, the guy who's in front of me that my first year, he's been there for a while. He knows the system. And, kudos to him. I mean, he played, well enough to earn a starting spot over me. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready my true freshman year. By that next year, though, he was still there. And I don't know if he tore his ACL in the last game of the spring game. I feel like I was more confident that year, that even though I didn't play much, it gave me a lot more confidence just being around the game, seeing, going through practices. So that next, I felt like another player. It's almost like coming through your first year in high school. Like, it's like, oh, these guys are bigger, these guys are faster. Being 4'4", linebackers 4. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just a different speed. And not saying that up, but the college game, managing everything,
playing in front of that many people.
It was the pressure of, okay, I know there's other guys coming in who are looking to play as well. So it was a situation where I was confident in myself, and I felt like given enough time that I wouldn't have any issues. And I mean, it worked out to where, not looking to see nobody get hurt, but when, the starter in front of me, towards ACL going into the next season, it kind of opened up a situation where it was already close, and that kind of just, made it to where it was going to be my time. And I worked for it. I mean, after my freshman year, I put on like 15 pounds of muscle. I probably have been the strongest I ever been. I put the work, and I knew what I had to do, coming back. And it was just a matter of getting on the field at that point.
What game was it for you when you felt like, far as in a game situation, there's like, okay, yeah, it's my show, it's my time. They don't know what's coming. You knew what was coming, but what game was that for you when you was like, oh, it's about to be on?
So definitely it had to be third game of my sophomore year. So I didn't start that game. I came in the third series, I believe, and we were playing LSU at home. We were ranked, and I got in on the third series, and it was kind of like I said, I felt a whole new confidence, and I didn't do anything spectacular in that, but I did enough to manage. I made some throws, for big first downs. I made a couple runs, and just managed the game. I knew at that point that I could do it, especially against when I saw it was against a team like a LSU.
Right? Yeah.
That's a big opponent. It wasn't against at that time like a Florida A&M or
right. I know what you mean. When slippery rock,
It wasn't. We could throw anybody in the game, manage the game. Against a legit opponent, atmosphere was jumping, and I just felt it. Like I felt comfortable, and that was it. That was the point. That was me really starting my career. From that point on, I went on to start every game after that.
My favorite game from you. I know a lot of people always talk about the game you had against Maryland when you shook old boy, because it's still on YouTube. That thing is still on YouTube. But actually, my favorite game was Georgia Tech, when y'all came down here to Georgia Tech, where you threw a pass and Vic was on the sideline. I don't know if you ever saw the clip, and Vic was like, no, because it looked like the thing was going to go out of bounds. I mean, in the back of the end zone, and Eddie just stopped on his knees, and that thing just dropped in his hand. I was like, man, that's one of the sickest passes I have ever seen in my life. And then the 2-point conversion, where you ran right and threw back left. And I was like, oh man, dude got it. Like, when they say you don't know what it is, but you know who got it, who don't have it. And to me, you were shaping up to have, you was having that kind of year. If you remember, Brad Banks had at Iowa. Yeah. Oh man, hey man, listen, black quarterback played. I know who they are. I can call them out. You was having that kind of season, man, and I remember you disagreed with me, but I still say that Carson Palmer wasn't supposed to get the Heisman. It wasn't supposed to get the Heisman. You was like, no, he did. I was like, man, that first game you had just a little bit more block, like the way you finished the season.
Oh no,
right?
you Matt Leinart.
Oh, Matt Leinart, not Carson. Matt Leinart, yeah.
Matt Leinart,
yeah. Because it's some click with you guys after that game. Like,
that first game. But even to this day, I remember, the pivotal play they call offense pass interference. Against Josh. And it kind of turned around the game. And then that's when we saw, Reggie Bush, he kind of came to life, got a wheel route on one of our linebackers. But we were in that game to win that game. Like, we were in position. I know everybody was looking. And, it's crazy, Otis. That game was so weird to me because, and I haven't really talked about this that much. Like, playing against USC that year, I felt like when I got on the field, I didn't feel like they were a superior team.
I was just about to say that. You guys went at them like, nah, we hit a. First of all, you guys played them like we're Virginia Tech, man. Like,
yeah. territory.
Hey, what's
And
that, man?
I know it really wasn't, people really wasn't giving us much of a chance. I mean, we were kind of young in other positions.
Right.
I was thinking like, when I get out there, I'm thinking myself, okay, USC, I know it's going to be like crazy fast, crazy defense everywhere, things. But it wasn't like that. Like the speed of the game, it didn't speed up. It wasn't like I was playing, a Miami.
Right.
Like, where the speed is just different. It wasn't like that at all. And I seen that early on. I'm like, man, like we're really in a position. Like, I feel like our offense is better than their defense. Now, I didn't know, defense compared to their offense, but I feel like on the offensive side, we were better than their defense as far as speed wise. So
you were. If listen, see, you was before what they say. You was before your time. Cause see, if you were playing today, you guys would have been in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So remember back then, it was still the BCN. It was still all this, basically what people feel versus proving it out on the football field. So today, because remember, that was y'all only loss as far as the regular.
We lost to NC State a couple games later. So we lost the first game. We won a game. Lost to NC State. That's when they had Mario Williams, Manny Lawson.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
We had a chance to win on a field goal, and it didn't happen.
Well, but you still would have been in the four because you won the ACC. You won the ACC and beat Miami in Miami.
Beat Miami in Miami.
And I still remember that slant to Royal on roll on Edger Roll.
Yeah.
Because he was playing quarter there, and I was like, after that play, I was like, nah, he gonna have to go to safety. Exactly. And once again, that was that swagger. You guys weren't scared, and people forget first year in the ACC. You had guys that been playing in the Big East for. It's like, man, everybody left the Big East. You guys left.
Everybody moving on out the Big East. Yeah, but first year, we went took the ACC first year.
First couple of years. I mean, even you were gone first couple. Virginia Tech was running the ACC.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, good run.
Now that was your best game. What did you feel was your best game?
So you said Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. Like a lot of people will say, 03, Syracuse when I threw for 500.
Ooh,
that was a crazy game. That was one of the crazier games of my career. One of my most important games, like you said, was Georgia Tech. That Georgia Tech game was so big for us being able to come back because it set us up to keep our run going as far as winning the ACC and being down by that much.
Yeah.
That propelled us in a lot of ways. It made us grow up. It made us show us that we're able to come from behind, because that was a question from a lot of people. Well, can we come from behind and win? So that was like that for us, confidence wise, that took us to another level. One of my favorites, that Miami game, my senior year down there, that definitely was special. That pass, definitely remember like it was yesterday. That year, I would probably put that Miami game.
The Miami game, man, that
one of my favorites
because they were still Miami. People forget they weren't like this Miami, but they were still Miami.
Yeah, and correct.
I'm sorry, they were still the U. They just Miami now. They just Miami right now. But yeah, and of course you guys were used to playing them, both coming from the Big East, so you knew what they were. You know what I'm saying? And you guys knew, and what was impressive to me as far as you as a leadership, like you said, you guys were young at the receiver spot. You guys were young. So when you're young at the receiver spot, there's a lot that goes on your shoulders, on your plate, making sure if a guy drops a pass, that you're not beating the guy up, because you letting him know, I'm gonna need you later. So I need you to keep your head in the game, but you guys also have some good backs. Cedric Humes and
Mike Mo.
Yeah, you guys you had your tight end, Jeff King, man. Yeah, man. Like that's people don't realize how loaded you guys were. It's just you guys weren't getting the name recognition at that time like everybody else was. But y'all were loaded on that offense.
Yeah.
The defense and of course special teams always. Y'all were the only school I know, and I would say football team, even the pros. Y'all don't look at special teams as if, okay, they about to punt it or they about to kick now we're gonna block this.
Yeah.
This about
They put
I've
us on
never seen
ball.
it, huh?
Beamer ball.
That's it. But think about it, Bryan. Nobody else puts the effort like that than Virginia Tech. It's like it's a big game. I've seen you guys, even I think it was your senior year. I don't know. I think it might have been against West Virginia, where you guys were down and boom, block punt. And then boom, next thing I know, the game did change. And it's like, y'all like, okay, let's go. Because you guys are looking at something simple. If you can't get a punt off, then evidently y'all don't want it. So it makes you guys get on offense and say, let's go, man. Let's go, man. Let's go get rid of these boys. I've never seen that from college to the pros. When you got to the NFL, one of the things that was, because I remember you were training here in Atlanta, and one of the most disheartening things for me was for you not to hear your name called on draft day, as far as being drafted. I was like, man, this dude is. First of all, y'all didn't even know. Y'all knew of Bryan Randall, but y'all didn't know Bryan Randall. And this guy's ACC Player of the Year. So you look at the gauntlet he had to go through. Like you said, his first game USC, last game Auburn. Like, and this guy showed up time and time again, right? And so you get picked up. But I always felt like, and you let me know how you feel. I always felt like, though, you never got a real look.
You ready for me to talk?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. No, I'm 100% agree with you. It tore me up, first of all, not getting drafted. Like, I just felt like to me, that was just so disrespectful. And I know I'm not the only guy. I'm not acting like I'm the only guy that, didn't get drafted, that deserved to get drafted. But when you take in the seventh, I wouldn't have cared if it was the last pick in the 7th round. You're not telling me that I didn't do enough to get drafted one of them picks in one of them rounds. I mean, to me, you take a backup quarterback from USC and Matt Castle. To me, that was a slap in the face. I remember that. That was a slap in the face. I'm like, this man ain't even in play. He's the backup. He's the backup quarterback. No disrespect to Matt Castle. But come on now. I'm the ACC Player of the Year. And you're telling me I can't get drafted? We're not just talking about a rinky-dink conference. We're not talking about a rinky-dink schedule. You got many players that I take. Look, it's crazy because it's a lot of stuff that I can say showing me different stuff. Before the draft, the Senior Bowl, they brought Brock Berlin to the Senior Bowl. So this is a guy who, and that's why I was gonna go back to that to my senior year, that game in Miami, because there was so much on the line. We had an ACC championship. I knew the ACC Player of the Year was gonna come from that game, depending on who won. It was gonna be me or Brock Berlin, their quarterback.
Right.
So there was a line on that game. So when I found out that I went to the Senior Bowl, and I was like, how Brock Berlin get invited to the Senior Bowl? So it was. I didn't get invited to the East-West Shrine. No, I got invited to the Super Bowl, which to me was basically like the third tier All-Star game out of all the All-Star games. Senior Bowl, East-West Shrine game, then the Hula Bowl.
Right.
So there was already a lot of disrespect in my eyes.
It was
going on. There was a lot of disrespect, and then draft day, I felt even more disrespect. So to kind of piggyback on what you said, yes, I felt the exact same way. I felt like I should have been drafted. And I felt like that led to a situation where I never really got an opportunity to,
Yeah, people talk about that now, like when a guy's undrafted or he's drafted low or versus a guy drafted high, they get more opportunities based because of the politics of where you was a person was
Yeah.
drafted.
Yes.
Lost your camera there.
Oh yeah. Hold on.
Yeah. See, I told you. So, no, it was one of those things. I remember, and I always wanted to ask you this. Never got a chance to ask you this because when you're a client, it's just some stuff you just don't ask. So I remember calling the house. Your mother picked up the phone, and your mother said he on the phone. He got an offer from the Falcons, and he got an offer from Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, tell him go to Arizona. Ask him if I said, tell him that. So then you called me back later and said, yeah, man, I'm gonna sign him with the Falcons. And as a football guy, I'm like, man, why are you coming here? And but I didn't know about the Jeremy Shockey thing. I didn't even know. But I just felt like I said Denny Green's gonna give him a look. Something just told me Denny Green was gonna give you a look. What was the process like? What went into your mind? Because let me say this, so when people see this, will understand. When you're an undrafted free agent and they're calling, you don't have time to talk about. Well, look, man, let me think it over tonight, man. We'll get with you tomorrow. No. It don't work that way. They will move on to somebody else.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And your what was your process? What were you thinking as far as coming to Atlanta?
Okay, so Atlanta called. Arizona called first, and talking fast, and they gave me their spiel. Come here. We're looking looking to offer you this, and Atlanta called like right after them, and for me, all I could really think about Otis was, okay, let me go somewhere where I'm backing up a guy who has the similar skill set, who have a similar skill set too. That's the first in my mind. I'm like, okay, yeah. If they're working an offense around for Mike, then for me to come in, I have some similar strengths.
Nothing changes.
Yes, in my game. So I'm like, it makes sense to me.
I got you.
And I was at the time, I didn't really know too much. I can't even remember who was Arizona's quarterback at that time.
See what I'm saying?
I
don't know.
And the other thing, it seemed like as an undrafted guy, I'm looking, okay, what's the depth chart? Their depth chart was Mike, Matt Schaub, and Ty Detmer. I'm like, oh, okay. Ty Detmer is 37 right now.
Yeah, Ty gonna be gone. Yeah, Ty
gonna be gone. So there's a good chance that if I come in, there's a situation where it may be like, okay, it's the third quarter. There's no reason for us to keep. He's 37. Why would we keep him around? For another year, we can just groom a young guy coming up as our third string. So when it really came down to it, that was my thought process. I could really get on at least as the third string guy to learn, because their third string quarterback was older than the starter and the backup.
Yeah, because I felt like I knew Schaub wasn't going to stay, much longer, because he was itching to want to be a starter, which he should. I mean, but then I think about it. Here's the funny part. I remember meeting Mike. I only met Vic once. I only met him once, and I was doing some market endorsement for a dog trainer that he knew, and this one Vic was he was buying horses. He was buying Pasofino show horses, and they were going to hire me to my company to help promote the horses. And I said, the first person we going after, Arthur Blank. That's first week. I said, because these horses, these ain't cars, these horses. You got to go. You got to go. And I said, we'll put they were gonna make a videotape and put it in every suite at the Georgia Dome. So and here's what struck me about Vic that a lot of people don't know that you know. People don't understand. He is not who you think he is. Like his game is not his personality. You know, like he was real reserved, laid back, quiet. He wasn't trying to be, hey, I'm Michael Vick. Looking at me, he was laid back. So he was filling us out, and you got me over. That's how I was getting the contract. I said, hey man, you play with my boy. He said, your boy. I said, yeah, I do marketing endorsement for athletes. You play with Bryan Randall. Oh, that's my man. That's my dude right there. And I was like, yeah. So we were going to get the contract to handle it, and then you know what came down afterwards. Like it was that summer. It was. Yeah. Trust me. He went. His family wasn't the only one crying. I was sitting at the crib. Hey, bro, I was sitting at the crib like, oh man, come on. I was about to be out of here, you know.
Oh man, yeah, I didn't even know that. Notice, I didn't know. So that was 07. That's when I was with the. That was the year I was with the Steelers.
Yeah, but see, and because we sat there and we talked about he talked about how, you know, he was ticked off that they had had released you. And he was like he was just like, because he knew what you had, you know, coming from the same program and the way Atlanta, you know, ran their offense. And I always sit back and I always wonder, like, what if they would have kept Bryan? Bryan would have been on the team, and then when he got in that situation, they'd have had a quarterback already there. They would have had a quarterback, not as fast as Vic, but they would have had a quarterback that. And watch this. Even to your point, when you talked about being ticked off not drafted, he ran the fastest 40 time for a quarterback at the combine. So I'm gonna put that. You know, I was knee deep in it. I was following everything. Yeah, it ain't the production that it is now, of course. But I was looking. I was like, okay, he ran a 4.6. Okay, all right, okay, you know.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't think 4.6 is fast, but I'm like, you're a lie. 4.6 is moving, bro.
4.6 is moving. Yeah.
It's just depending on who you comparing it to. Like,
yeah, absolutely. No, that's cool. Yeah, Mike's my man. That's my man to this day, man. That formed, that Atlanta formed, because I mean, I didn't know before then. I didn't have no relationship with Mike when I was at Tech. So when I got to Atlanta, you know, I tell people the story all the time. You know, when I was on that phone for them few minutes, you know, talking to Atlanta after the draft,
right?
They asked me, they said, okay, look, we want to sign you, but first we got to talk to Mike. I'm thinking to myself, like, why would you have to talk to Mike, like, to sign me? Like, I'm thinking in my head, like, what? Okay, I don't get it. Like, I don't got no beef with Mike. So they had to see if he was okay because of the situation that happened with me and Marcus at Tech, with us, you know, going back and forth.
Okay.
No type of animosity, you know, between that, you know, Mike felt towards me, because of course they gonna bring me in if he got some issues with me coming in.
Yeah, but that situation at VTech, that was more, to me, that was more of just the what we see a lot when a coach is recruiting a player. You're gonna come in, we're gonna go ahead and play you, you know, like that was nothing that you were right. That was just two people competing for a job. Yeah,
that's all that was.
Yeah, like so when you said that just now, I didn't, but then you had your boy. Hey, listen, I wasn't even worried about you making the team. Let me show you how shocked I was. I'm like, okay, Vic there, right? D Hall there, like, and I forgot y'all had somebody else. It was like
I drafted the next year.
Yeah, it was like VTech. I was like, okay, so all right, he good. I wasn't even looking at the Michael Vick angle. I was just looking at, they're getting guys from VTech. They like guys from VTech. You know, I'm still trying to figure out, growing up a Washington football fan, right? How is it when Vic was a free agent, how do y'all don't bring this boy home? I still can't figure that one out. It's like, even if you just trying to sell tickets, like, and then he went up to that Philadelphia game still give me nightmares.
Mm.
With Deshaun Jackson and
out the gate. I remember watching. I said, "Ooh, out the gate, they out here firing on Washington."
Out the gate, and you know what I do? You know what I do when I see something like that go down, man? I just put a movie on. I said, let me watch a movie. I can't take it. I can't. And I'm glad, and I'm thankful. People, y'all don't know that Bryan is a Virginia Tech man, to the point that Bryan used to call me and let me know when V-Tech beat Duke. And I'm glad you didn't call me this year, because I was sick to my stomach. And I had a conversation with you. I interviewed Seth Greenberg, your old coach. And we had a conversation about you in the interview. And he said, man, he loved you so much. He said you was such a great leader. He said you was a great leader for the team, man. You coming in. He was like, he said it blew him away at first. He's like, you gonna play football and basketball? And he was looking at that, what you doing? And because he knew you had a career, in football. But he said you were just such a great leader, man. You just a great leader. Because I said, man, I told him, I said, I read an article where they were talking about how Michael Vick was the most important player to come through V-Tech to put it on the map. Because nobody knew that, nobody didn't even know Bruce Smith had been at V-Tech. Like you said, that nobody, like, when he put it on the map. And then they said the article talked about how you will go down as one of the most, if not the most beloved player at Virginia Tech, because of the things that you endured, the leadership that you showed, and how you kept Virginia Tech, relevant. And so you and Terrence Robinson have always been my favorite clients for two reasons. One, Terrence was the first guy I ever signed. First guy. And I remember he said, well, man, my agent gonna handle my marketing endorsement. I said, okay. I got off the phone. He called me back an hour later. He said, hey, man, my agent said he can't give me no shoe deal, man, because he said, I'm looking to be a late draft pick or free agent. He said, what can you do? I said, brother, I had your contract from Reebok in my hand when I called you. I already had it. It's already a done deal. And then for you, what touched me was when I flew up to meet with you and your family. People, this normally doesn't happen. He and his family picked me up at the airport. Came back to the house, gave my speech, and they took me back to the airport. Now, I will say this to you, Bryan. I never told you this. Man, when I got off the plane at Virginia Tech, brother, I was scared to death. I thought it was a bomb threat or something, because I was like, where's everybody at? Like, I was used to Hartsfield Airport, right? I get up there, man, ain't nobody. I was like, man, what's going on?
Oh, no, you look at a whole other world. You talking about you can fly up there in Roanoke. Yeah.
So my next question, can you tell me how did you combine the passing and the running? Because a lot of guys, when they run too much, the teams try to get them to stay in the pocket, and then you start to see they play slower because now they're thinking and not reacting. But you were able to run when it was necessary. I'm talking about just off the scrambling, not talking about the design runs, but just off of scrambling, or throw it scrambling, or just play from the pocket. Where did you find that balance?
Well, I think the first thing, even as a mobile quarterback, I think people sometimes they're misled by the term mobile quarterback. Because I believe this, and this is my opinion, and I know this for me, that I'm a mobile quarterback because, yes, I can run. Okay, so you label me as a mobile quarterback because I'm not necessarily maybe as slow as some of the other quarterbacks that try to get out and move and try to, get out the pocket. But as a quarterback in general, just quarterback, we're looking to throw the ball. We're not looking to run the ball. I just so happen to be athletic enough to where if something happens, I'm able to out and run.
Right.
I think that label of the mobile quarterback, especially on African American quarterbacks,
right,
has been something that has kind of been like a handicap, on us. Yeah, so and so, yeah, he's a mobile. No, he's a quarterback. Period. He's a quarterback. Right. Period. Because you got the same guys, and not trying to bring race into this, right. But I spoke with my dad about this a while ago. The same quarterback can run a 4.5 and be white.
Right.
But pocket passer that can get out and run. Bro, you run a 4.5. You're a mobile quarterback. You're mobile. Run a 4.5. You're mobile.
You're
like,
mobile.
There's no other way to put it. But the mindset of even a mobile, we're a quarterback. Like, we're looking to throw the ball. Like, we don't want to run and get hit. We're not looking.
Okay.
We would have played running back if that was the case. So
right.
The balance was always in. I'm always looking to throw. But if something happens, I'm going to do whatever as an athlete to make a play, to get a first down, whatever that may be. I'm not sitting back there to get sacked.
I was about to say, you ain't even let nobody get a kill shot.
If I don't have to throw it away, I'm not. If I can make you miss and get out and run, that's what I'm going to do. But my first instinct is to throw the ball. That's always been the first instinct in me. It's never been, okay, let me see if I can get dropped back, and the first lane I get, I'm looking to take off and run. No, it's never, my mindset has never been that. I want to sit back and throw the ball as many times as I can until somebody break through the line, or it's best for me to get out the pocket and make a play. I'm a quarterback that can run, that can make plays. The mobile quarterback thing has been blown.
And you did that well. That's why I asked that question, because I know a lot of times some guys struggle with that when the team feel like that they're running too much.
Yeah.
And then now it's like, why did he take off and run? Well, they in his head now. They told him don't run in the pocket. Now you never had that problem. You was always able to balance it. I just got a few more questions for you, man.
Okay. Right.
And it was, how did it make you feel, or what was the feeling for you, like, man, being inducted in Virginia Tech's Sports Hall of Fame, man? That's big.
Whew, that was huge, Otis. And like you were saying before, a lot of people give me a lot of high praise, for a lot of stuff that, where I carry myself off the field. But, I was able to accomplish a lot, break records, and, going out with a bang my senior year, winning that ACC was kind of like the stamp, the icing on the cake, for all that, I had, for the ups and downs, that were pretty much, but through it all, I mean, statistically, you would look at it, and I mean, I was very successful, at Tech. So to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, I mean, it was kind of surreal, because, that's not, you kind of look at the way things played out, after you're done, the praise that people, I mean, I still to this day, sometimes when people are, giving me praise, telling me, hey, this and that, it sometimes kind of feels like, man, like, there's a lot of people out there that look at me to have done a lot of great things, when to me, sometimes I don't see it as, that big, as for what I did. And I guess it's because there was, so many ups and downs, so much adversity, even through all the success.
Right.
The things that I had to go through, things that I had to endure, as a player. I just feel like I was blessed. And that's why I kept my head high, because I never doubted myself.
Right.
And people, when I left, it was like, I would come back. It was like I was already in the Hall of Fame. When I came back, and I'm like, it's the same people that were, trying to get me out of there, saying I wasn't gonna be a quarterback, or saying I didn't have what it took to to be successful. So it was definitely a blessing. I love Virginia Tech. My experience there were great. And I remember coming back one time, somebody's like, oh, he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And I was thinking, like, in my mind, I couldn't really wrap my mind around it, at the time. I think Hall of Fame, just like NFL, you think down the line. You don't think like so soon.
Right. You're not growing up. You're not growing up thinking that. Right.
Yeah. not 20 years later, you know, I mean, after I'm done playing. So, I think I went in 14?
I think it was 14,
14
15,
years.
yeah.
Eligible 10 years. I think you're eligible 10 years after. So the first year that I was able to get in, I went in before Mike went in. You know, so I'm looking at stuff like that. Like,
see,
man.
I read an article articles that said, I think, man, for us that are fans of the game and fans of you, like you said, it is the way you carry yourself. But we knew, first of all, you mentioned it earlier, heavy run based team, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to throw over 6,000 yards, where you had the thing with where they couldn't decide whether you was playing, Marcus was playing, whether
Mm-hmm.
it was the Sean Glennon, whether it was you, like, to still be able to.
Yeah, going. Oh, somebody's trying to call, try to get.
So, what you?
Somebody.
No, I'm saying. No, I was saying that it's just everything. When you know, it's kind of like that scene in Jerry Maguire when Cuba's character kept saying, you know, he ain't getting his love and he's not this. And you remember Tom Cruise said, that's not what excites people. You got you got to play with passion. You got to play with heart. That's what makes people gravitate, you know, to you. And I think that's what you did. You just kept, like I said, kept your head down. You just went out and played. You wasn't worried about you letting your game speak for itself. And next thing I know, because remember, I used to say all the time, I was like, man, if you'd had another year, you know, not that you needed it. I didn't think you needed it, but it was just, I was like, man, if he had another year, like you said, had you redshirted the year you were supposed to, versus they like, nah, we need you to play, right? Or you would have had an opportunity for the transporter pool like they do now. You know, that, man. I know you sit back sometimes like, man, I'm born too early, man. They got the NIL, man. They got all this stuff, man. What?
No doubt. No doubt.
You know. So let me ask you this: what does your family, your mother and your father, your family, have meant to you through your you know, journey in life?
Oh, man, I mean, rest in peace to my father. I mean, the foundation was all built through them, Otis. You know, my mother and my father, the way that they raised me and my brother, basically allowed me to be able to stand on my morals, stand for what I believe in, and to have priorities. You know, have priorities, the way that I carry myself, what's important, the way that you treat people. You know, not just from the athletic side, but just from the life side.
Just life, period. Yeah.
Life, period. And even, you know, life after football, you know, life after, you know, not making it to the NFL, getting cut, traveling, playing arena football, going to many different teams, like the journey, like the whole journey itself, without being raised the way that I was, man, I don't think I would have stayed the course. You know, knowing that there's things more important than football.
Right.
So therefore, when disappointments come in football, that's only one part of life. You just, you know, you pick your bags up, you keep going. You know, you keep moving forward, because it can get hard, man. And that's, like, you know, you talk about players fighting depression. You know, players who go 3 years in the league, they get out the league, they don't know what to do. They're broke. You know, you look at guys fighting mental issues. You know, there's a lot of other things besides the football part that affect the man. Right. And I just feel like I thank God every day for my parents, because I know that the way that they raised me and my brother allowed me to be where I'm at right now. You know, in my right mind, realizing what's important, enjoying my football, enjoying the time that I did play football, but not allowing what would be considered not necessarily failure, but success that I wanted.
You wanted, right? I know what you mean. Yeah.
I wanted to have, but seeing the bigger picture.
And you still can sleep at night. You can still sleep
like a baby, Otis, like a baby. And that's important to me. Like, things like that, I realize now that's the stuff that's important to me. Like, not having stress, having my family, having my kids, my wife, what's really important in life. And honestly, that's one of the reasons why I didn't jump back into coaching right after I was done playing. I didn't want to keep just going on and on. I had to take a step back from it.
I get it.
That was important to me for my mind, because football wasn't, it's not everything in life to me.
It's funny you say that, because I never thought it was. And what I mean by that, I knew your identity was not wrapped up in playing football. I knew that was your goal, the job you wanted, but your identity, you knew who Bryan is. That you weren't going to say, if somebody said, well, who is Bryan Randall? You were like, well, I'm a football player. You were never going to start with that. I lost my father in 96, and I lost my mother in 2017. And did you ever get a chance with your dad, or do you look back now and say, I get it? Did you ever, before he passed, be able to tell him, there we go. Yeah. Who we got there?
Bryan Jr. right here.
Bryan Jr.
Just turned one.
Just turned one. Hey man, you ain't gonna believe it, man. I got 5 grandchildren. I told my kid, this ain't no competition. Y'all need to stop.
Man, hey, listen, I know it's a full time. Thank God for my mom. Thank the Lord. Man.
And my last question for you was going to be, this little man. Tell your wife, come on, get this camera shot. Get this camera shot. Because when I ask this question, I want her to be right there. So come on to the camera. Come on to the camera. Now, your husband was one of my first clients that I ever had, and then back 2 years ago, I started a podcast. So my final question, and I wanted to interview him because I want everybody to know him and remember what he did, the things he did at Virginia Tech. And my final question was, I asked him about, how important and, everything with his family, his mother and father. And so, Bryan, my last final question for you is, what does your family, your wife, your kids, what do they do for you? What do they give you?
Man, Otis, this is having a family. And, I think it really, well, I know it does. It really stems back to my parents, me and my brother. Parents raised us. So family was always right under God for us. And I've always had the passion to want my own family, want my own kids. And looking at the model that my parents set for me, I knew it was going to be something special. And I knew when it was the right time that it was something that I wanted. I knew, some people say, I don't know if I want to get married. I don't know if I want to have a family. I knew from day one. I knew just being by the way I knew I want to have somebody to raise, daughters to raise, or a son to raise, just like my parents did me, to instill the qualities, to instill the priorities, to pour my love into, someone other than myself, because that's the way that I was brought up. That was my foundation that, was put into me. So it's so much love in me that was given to me coming up that I knew I wanted to pour into my own.
That's right. You have a little girl.
I got 2 little girls.
2 little girls. 3. Okay. So let me tell you, because that's how I have 2 daughters. All right. And then I have a son. But them girls, that's where the gray come from. I'm just gonna tell you right now. So it's good you don't have no hair, because you ain't gotta worry about pulling it out. Because I'm gonna tell you, the girls changed the game, bro. They listen. My oldest daughter just had my grandson Jair Jr. So we call him JJ or Junior. And my youngest daughter last year had my grandson Braylon. Okay. So I'm looking at them like, what y'all doing? This ain't no competition. Y'all still live with me. This ain't no competition. What y'all doing? This is what y'all doing.
We thank God for the grandparents, Otis. We need the grandparents. The grandparents are part of the foundation
Oh
man.
yeah. But I love it, man. I love being a grandfather. I love seeing you in the with your own family now. You'll be able to, which I'm sure you do, be able to draw on things that your father taught you, that your mother taught you, and pour into your own family, and then plus whatever God gives you, that's just to put into your kids, man. And it's a wonderful thing. And now we link back up. I got your number, you got mine.
Yeah,
Once again, thank you for coming on the show, man, blessing us with your presence, man. Make sure you
appreciate it.
continue to do what you've been doing, man, with your family, and tell your mother I said hello, and just stay safe, and man, continue to be blessed.
Hey, Otis, I just want to tell you, man. I want to
Sure.
tell you, man. When you became my marketing guy, you've always been 100, man. You always were. That's one thing that I respected about you. I still remember standing in the land when I was working out. You brought me some Jumpman black Jordans.
I was mad. I was mad giving you them shoes. I was like, I wanted them shoes.
I remember them Jumpman Jordans. I said, man, you've always been 100 with me, man. You always been real, and I always respected it. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being that way.
Well, hey man, I appreciate. That's why I'm glad that we have each other's numbers and can connect. I always wanted to stay connected to guys. Me and T Rob talk all the time, man, and I try to give him any advice or whatever that I know, far as being a father of
Yeah.
pitfalls. I share stuff where I might have felt short in my own shortcomings when I was younger, and try to stay away. So people don't understand, anything I do, I actually have to actually care about the thing that I'm doing. Like with this podcast, it's a safe place. I want people to be able to tell their story, right? Uninterrupted, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm most definitely gonna have you back, man. Want to try to pair you up with another athlete, or it may not
Okay.
be an athlete. It might be just another entertainer. Just
Okay.
depending on who it is, man.
Okay.
Listen. One of the biggest kudos I recently just got, man. I tried to get Dick Vitale back on, and I had him on last year. Got 10 minutes, but he had been battling throat cancer and doing well now. But he told me, he said, Otis, I've been doing a little couple TV. They don't want me to talk too much, so I can't come back on. But he said, man, thank you for caring about me, because following each other on Facebook, man, I just sent the prayer out to him, man, just praying for him, because I wouldn't wish that on anybody. So when you said what you said, that it trust me, it means a lot to me, because you guys are actually my heroes, because I played high school ball. I was a better baseball player, but football was my passion. And I should have did what Allen Iverson did, stuck with what you best in. Forget your passion. Need to go out there on that base. Yeah, need to go back under that baseball. So to see the level and to see where you are, man, now, man, just I'm so proud of you, man, and just keep doing what you're doing, and let God just continue to lead you in whatever direction that He's calling for you and your family.
Definitely appreciate you, Otis, man. Appreciate you.
I will be talking to you, man.
All right, man.
Peace
All
out.
right.